Hello, Tommy. I get my promise, I'm here. I get my promise, I'm here.
I hope you understand. I hope
Trying to help you while you're here. Trying to help. If you'd like to say anything,
it's yours.
The room is yours. The room is yours.
Welcome to Surviving Evidence with your host Chris DeCesare and co-host Phil Casey. Chris is a New York-based author and respected authority in the paranormal field. His survival of the C2D1 haunting ranks among the most documented paranormal events in history. Chris is known for being someone who has taken the trauma and tragedy of such an experience and turned it into a tale of hope and survival. He is joined by his wingman and longtime friend Phil Casey, who is also a native of the Empire State. Together they will bring you engaging interviews with some of the top authors, TV and radio personalities, and paranormal researchers in the field. Now here are your hosts of Surviving Evidence, Chris DeCesare and Phil Casey on WGOG Digital Broadcasting.
Broadcasting live from the historic Hudson Valley of New York State. Gigantic welcome to you all. Everyone listening from across the globe. This is Steve Cesare, the Ghost Boy of Geneseo. And you're listening to Surviving Evidence on Let's Talk Radio. And at my side, once again, for our adventures, my wingman and private party planner, Mr. Phil Casey.
Good evening, everyone. What's going on? I am super excited to be back. I have leaped tall buildings, only 2 inches off the ground because I have a 3-inch vertical. So I leaped those, but I'm ready to go, and we planned a huge party for tonight. So this hour is going to be spectacular.
Yeah, we usually do 2 hours, but in my infirm state, one will have to do. You can join Phil and I in the Let's Talk Radio chat room at www.wgogdb.com. It's a fun place to share your thoughts, ask a few questions, meet some interesting people. Love to see you there.
Oh, let's see who's in there already. We've got, as ever, always Kathleen is in there, Andrew Knapp. We've got Mr. Boris Kremers is in there. I see some guy named Chris DeCesare. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know about that guy or this other guy, Phil Casey, so it's kind of crazy.
Yes. We're honored to be back. Our guest this evening is us. We're going to change the format just a little bit until next week and ease back into our program. We want to thank our producer, the manager of this network, Mr. Todd Bates. He produces the show, he runs the chat room, creates the advertising, and most importantly, he puts up with us.
He's got to put up with us. I don't know anyone else who could. My wife can't. Well, Chris's wife tolerates her. She's a saint. She's got a one-way pass. So.
Yeah, but it's a certain saint day. I always forget on the calendar. It's not a feast day of Ascension or something. How that works.
I'm always the month of August.
The whole month?
The whole month.
Isn't that fair?
It is, because that's my birthday month, so
dang.
You can't.
I get one day in March at the very end.
Well, you got to talk to somebody about that.
April Fool's Day, people laugh like that, too. Anyway.
Yeah.
We're enjoying the growth of the radio station. A whole bunch of shows on now, including Keeping the Spirits Alive, Paranormal Experience, Fate Magazine, Gang of Girls Radio, Paranormal Path of Discovery, Paranormal Evidence. This is incredible. So we're very proud to be part of Let's Talk Radio family. Now, tonight we're going to, you said, to talk a little bit back and forth and take some questions from the chat room. In my absence, I've been working on throwing my voice. I just threw it. You see that?
I saw that.
Yeah, see that? I wish it was on TV. You couldn't see me throw my voice. I take my word for it. Because I just threw my voice.
Oh.
Yes.
You should be on America's Got Talent.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I'll tell. I don't have talent. It's just, smoke and mirrors.
Well, hey, it's a magician show.
Yes, yes. I want to also say thank you to everyone who, for the past couple months, took the time out to send me words of encouragement, healing energies, prayers, thoughts. It means a lot. We go through our lives, and sometimes it gets a bit of a drudge. We work, we eat, we pay the bills, and sometimes we forget to stop and, as they say, smell the roses. And it was very, very special for me to get all those messages of healing and thought, and it really helped me through that tough time.
Yeah, we were a little worried there, but we knew, Chris is a tough cookie, and we knew we would be back, and we're just happy that we get this time, and everybody that's out there listening to us, and thank you guys for sticking with us and staying with all the ups and downs, and it's just amazing. We're just happy to be back, and happy Chris is back with us. So
absolutely, and I'm glad I can wear the ice chips now as well.
You and those ice chips.
You think about it. A lot of times, you just toss kind of ice in the dark, and the soda's gone during the drink. We don't even think about that. But when you get any food, you bark the ice chips. How many I get? 3 ice chips? I need 4 ice chips. I got 5 in my pocket. Here's $5 bill for a 4th ice chip. What do you think?
Were you playing dice?
No, I didn't have them in the hospital.
Did you have cards?
To escape. I had my rapier wit. That's all I had.
Okay, so you were trying to play mind tricks.
Yes, Jedi mind tricks. Or Sith, I don't care.
Oh, Jedi mind tricks work.
Sith get mind tricks?
Well, they do, but they're evil.
But they're mind tricks. So we also had Jedi mind tricks, but they were Sith mind tricks.
Yes, but Sith mind tricks are evil. You don't want to be evil.
But it seems those are more effective, no?
Well, they get your point across more.
Like, a Jedi mind trick says, I want your ice cream. Or you crave ice cream. A Sith mind trick says, the soul is mine. It's a different thing.
Yeah, that's a little dark.
Well, but I'm just saying, light or dark, isn't that more effective?
I would go, Sith would say more of, I'm taking your ice cream, and there's nothing you can do about it.
No, we wouldn't have to say that, 'cause it's a mind trick. We wouldn't even know he's taking it. Is that how it works? I'm not sure how that works, actually. I have to go back and see those movies. There's like 43 of them, right?
There's 47, and the new one coming out.
I noticed that the new ones are better in terms of the CGI and the sound, but they seem to just do over the very first plots, no?
Well, you got to go back and remind people where they came from, because us, as we get older, and the stupid leaks out of our brains, we have to be reminded sometimes that, hey, listen, this is how Han Solo was, or this is how Princess Leia was, or this is where Luke came from, and then they go forward. So
that's fair. Oh, today, by the way, is my grandmother's 94th birthday in Florida. So happy birthday to you, Grandma.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
She was just an incredible person. She got my very first comic book when I was a kid, and she brought it over, and she was babysitting for us, and she read the whole comic book to me. It was Avengers 106. On the cover was Iron Man, Hawkeye, Captain America, and the Black Panther, and that's a big movie right now.
It was #1 in the box office the last couple of weeks.
T'Challa, right?
T'Challa, yeah, T'Challa. T'Challa.
Yeah.
Yes.
But back in those days, there weren't movies about superheroes. I would take my comic book and cut it up, make squares of heroes, and take the popsicle sticks after the ice cream was gone, have them fight.
You're killing me.
I didn't mind so much since I found that X-Men number 94 was like $400, then I minded a bit.
Yeah, that makes me cringe that you cut up a comic book as a collector.
Well, I was like 11.
Well, we didn't know, because I'll tell you, if I had half the toys that I had when I was a kid, I'd be rich. I could do this all day.
Where'd they all go? They just kind of evaporated?
No, we played with them. We were kids,
Sith
man.
Mind trick.
Somebody did the Sith mind trick and stole them.
They're gone.
That's it. It's out. Peace out.
Yeah. I want to go back to my grandma. One of the things that was so great about her was she always had a youthful spirit. So even when she was in her 40s and we were little kids, she rolled down the hill with us and play games and blow bubbles with us and take us places to the park. And it's nice. And the chance to actually still talk to her after all these years is an amazing thing. And, sometimes just hearing her laugh on the phone is just an amazing gift. We a lot of times, and it's true. We just go about our business. As saying before, we don't take the time sometimes to appreciate what we have. And I want to just hit that again because I really appreciate everyone out there who's listening. It means a lot to me. The beginning for me happened when I was 11, when my great grandfather passed away. I didn't know much about how that worked as a kid. I remember we went to see him in the hospital, and he wasn't doing well. He was lying in the bed, and my parents took me to see him. And I think that the hospital ward smelled funny. I made a face like, what's that smell? And that wasn't cool. And I never told my grandpa I loved him or missed him. And I walked outside the hallway because I felt ill. And then we drove home in the car, and I cried. And he died. So I remember about that. I felt kind of bad that I didn't, as a kid, say goodbye right. And then about 4 months later, I was hitting a ball in the backyard. And the ball curved, as it happens sometimes. The ball slice. And it ran around the house. And I went to retrieve it. I bent down, and I saw my great-grandfather who passed away before. He just looked at me. It was quiet. He put his finger to his lips and said, shh. And that was the first experience that I had. But because of my great-grandfather, and I respected him, and I listened as a kid, I didn't tell anybody about what that was or how it happened. And I forgot all about that, in fact, until Geneseo happened with the ghost up in Erie Hall. And sometimes a sound, a sight, a scent, what's alliteration? Like that sound, like scent, can remind you or open up a memory, from your past. And I thought that was kind of interesting. But, as a kid, you want to fit in sometimes and have fun, not worry about things that are distracting. And I don't know if you notice, folks, but I stopped putting my voice. Just me now. I'm not throwing it across the studio.
I like it. I see it.
Pretty clever, right?
It is. I think that's a really neat trick.
Or what's the mind trick that you thought I was playing my voice?
I think it was a Jedi mind trick.
Only you, me, and possibly Todd know the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh-huh.
You can't dispute that.
Or that Russian Czech person.
It could checkmate.
Oh.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that now.
What's funny is I always learn something new about Chris. It never ceases to amaze me in all the years we've been friends. Like, I didn't know that story about his grandfather, and that's weird because there's so many similarities between our paranormal aspects. Like, and we talk about it, and that's one of the things that always stuck in my head. That was something that I had a really hard time with when I was 4.5 years old. My grandfather had passed away, and I do remember my mother taking me to the hospital. I remember all my aunts and uncles coming in, and he was at the veterinary hospital across the river, and because he was a World War II vet, so that's where he was, and he was diagnosed with cancer, and we were in the room, and I remember he looked at me, and he said, "Just tell me you love me, you can go," and I freaked because all my aunts and uncles were in the room, and I was like, that's not a manly thing to say, and I ran out, and that was the last time that I saw him, and that's so, like, it's so weird how everyone is connected for a reason. Like, I just think, like, and that ate at me because that was one of the things that my grandfather always said to me was when we used to watch wrestling on TV. He'd be like, one day you're going to do that. And I used to just giggle at him. I was 4 years old. I had no idea. And now later on in my life, I was able to do stuff with professional wrestling. And I remember the first time I did a show in Washingtonville, New York, when the guys asked me to come back. And they were like, we want you to come in, we want you to referee a show. And I got to work with really good friends of mine. And I remember getting in the ring, and I remember going over to the corner, and I took 2 minutes, and I got down on one knee, and I looked up, and I said, I love you, Grandpa. And there was such a huge weight that went off of my shoulders. Like, oh, my God, I just paid homage to him, and he'll never forgive me. And I knew that I had lost my grandmother last year at 96 years old to onset Alzheimer's, and I made it a point. I was going to make sure that she knew that I loved her before she left. And that was a really touching moment for me and my sister. Was we were the last two in the room with her the afternoon before she passed away. And I looked at her, and we were getting ready to leave. And I said, you know what, Grandma, it's okay. We're all okay now. You did your job. You can go. And later that night, she passed away. And it's just amazing how, like, even with Josh LaJeunesse, how our shadow figures affected our kids and later on in life we bump into each other at a show or at an event, and we were talking about things, and it's just the similarities of why we're all together. It just amazes me. It absolutely amazes me.
I wonder sometimes too about the way in which someone has their final moments. I mean, there are some people who they end up on some dark country road and some drunk driver comes to their way and smacks into them and they're gone. Other folks get the opportunity to be in hospice care with their family and see their relatives and say proper goodbyes. I was marveled at the difference between opportunity in that area, because it's not a small choice in terms of death and mortality and how you go out. It's potentially your final one, at least in the physical sense, as opposed to something that's mundane, you know. And I remember as a child too, my friend who lived across the street, his name was Joe, and his mother was an overnight nurse across the river here in New York, and a very nice lady. And one night she came home, and apparently a drunk driver came across the road, smacked. She died in impact instantly, and the drunk driver sustained no injuries. And I didn't know how to talk to Joe. The only that experience was my great-grandfather. And then vicariously, like TV, like Crosby and Elvis Presley and things. That's not the same. And a few days after he passed, he walked across the street to my house. And I didn't know what to say. I said, listen, I have some bad news. My mom is gone. She was killed by a drunk driver. And I remember thinking at the time, that Joe the same to me, because I didn't know if that would change him a lot. But he said he could practice something, and so we sat down in front of my house, and we faced forward for the road. And the doctor explained to him his mother died because he messed up, because she was tense in fear as the car came toward her. A brittle surface will snap, whereas a relaxed, like a rubber band object, will bend or move. So the drunk guy was relaxed. So because she was tense, she was injured, he wasn't. So we practiced for an hour, Joe and I, pretending a car was coming toward us. We count 1, 2, 3, relaxed. 1, 2, 3, relaxed. Because we wanted to make sure it happened to us. And it meant the world to Joe, I think, that we did that together to try to alleviate some of his fears. His mother's name was Grace. And I was thinking, my grandma's name for 94 is Grace. At the time, I thought to myself, I was sad his Grace was gone. I got my Grace still alive. That's why I think it's the case.
Yeah, it's just an amazing thing. I'm marveled at some of the things that I've learned over the years and have been privileged enough to be a part of, and just meet a lot of great people out there. And like a lot of our listeners, a lot of great listeners out there listening to us banter back and forth tonight as we get back into the groove of things. But yeah, we it's just an amazing thing. Like I love that word amazing, and I love the word awesome. So you'll hear it a lot, along with the word So if you weren't hearing it before, now that I've made you privy to it, you're going to listen. And every time I say you should just do a shot, because you'll get drunk quick. And so no, it's I just all the similarities over these last couple works, and I know that we've all been praying for Chris and sending him healing and stuff like that, and we were really happy he's here, and I don't think I get to say it enough, but I'm honored to be his friend, and I'm very not privileged. I'm very gracious to the fact that I've had someone like him to lean on. It helps a lot, and vice versa. And I know he doesn't know it all the time, but he knows I'd go to war for him. So, and he's a really good friend of mine, and I appreciate him a lot, and I'm excited for tonight. So, and just to be able to banter back and forth is pretty cool. So, I'm happy that we're our guests, and it's pretty neat. I've never been my own guest before.
I like our guests.
I do. They're pretty cool dudes.
And thank you for the kind words. I do appreciate it. Sometimes in society there are certain gender roles that people either assign or brought up in, learn to adapt, or just somehow fall into. And as you were mentioning before with your grandfather, it's not a guy thing to be emotional and say goodbye. And so similar for me too. It wasn't always so easy for me to, share emotions. I could be funny with things. I could talk about concepts, but emotions was a little bit different. And so I thank you for what you're saying. It's it's a very nice thing, and I'm thankful too. I think that it's time for our very first station break, and when we come back, take questions from the chat room. And hello again, Darlene, Kathleen, and Andrew, Flores, and everyone. Appreciate you being here. You're listening to Let's Talk Radio. Very wonderful. We'll be right back.
In a world of many voices, there's just one that needs to be heard. Yours. Join the conversation at letstalkradio.net. In 2012, Keith Linder, after successfully obtaining a management position at a prestige healthcare company, decides the time is right for him and his girlfriend to move in together. That's putting things lightly. Weird things begin to happen within days of moving into the modern suburban home. The horrors they witnessed and desperately tried to fight off would end up putting them at the odds with members of the paranormal community and themselves. This gripping story, told from the house occupant's point of view, not only lists tales, but also includes pictures, video reenactments, commentary, and audio of the events being reported. Author Keith Linder does not ask you to believe him. He only asks you to listen. The Bothell Hell House by Keith Linder, now available on Amazon. The book, The Bothell Hell House. The author, Keith Linder. Order yours today on Amazon. Terry Lovelace is a 64-year-old retired lawyer and former assistant attorney general. The earliest alien experience Terry can recall was when he was 8 years old. Incident at Devil's Den. In May of 1963, he saw a UFO and described it as a perfect silver disc. 3 years later, on a clear night, he saw a second flying disc outside his second-story bedroom window. Incident at Devil's Den. In 1975, while serving as a medic in the Air Force, he witnessed yet another UFO hovering 50 feet over an ICBM missile silo. Incident at Devil's Den. 2 years later, while he and a friend were camped in an isolated state park known as Devil's Den, Terry had a life-changing fourth encounter. Not only did Terry and a friend witness an estimated 5-story high UFO, but this fourth encounter would be an epic, life-altering event. Incident at Devil's Den by Terry Lovelace. Digital download or paperback now available on Amazon.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has delivered a one-of-a-kind reading experience, covering everything from psychics, UFOs, paranormal investigations, and more. To subscribe, visit fatemag.com or call 828-702-3032. That's 828-702-3032. Subscribe and find your true reports of the strange and unknown at fatemag.com.
Let's Talk Radio.net.
Surviving Evidence. If you're just tuning in, we're speaking with us. It's Phil Casey and Chris Cesare, and we'd like to take some of your questions from the chat room, if you'd like, and hopefully there are things we can answer. I'm not very good with advanced math, but I'll do my best if that's the case. So Phil and I will talk a little bit until we see some questions, and then we'll.
Cool.
And I see I have a question already. It's QQ. Catherine's very good with that, you know. She's great at following the directions. She's very thorough. I don't have that particular skill. The question is, how is your feature film come along, The Veil Principle? When might we get to see it premiere? You know, it's, how can I say this? Sometimes you make a plan, and it goes as it's supposed to. Other times you make a plan, and it takes a curve. The film, The Veil Principle, which is about a young, returning Army veteran who has PTSD, played by Connor Wurst, is being treated by a psychiatrist, played by Mr. John Tobin, and he's trying to get treatment so that he can function normally in his life. He's having these terrible flashbacks. He almost kills his girlfriend. He's having a hard time remaining employed. And so the therapist wants to help him with this. But the therapist begins to suspect that it's not just a case of PTSD, but rather something either in this person's head or in their apartment that's making him hear these things. And he recalls his own father toward the end was having similar symptoms. And so the psychiatrist removes the medicine and gives him a placebo, sugar pills, to see what the effect is. And over the course of the film, it becomes known that there is some entity in that building talking to this young man. And the concept is that many times the symptoms, the things that people talk about when they're going through a haunting or possession or depression are some of those things that are found in cases of PTSD. And the question is it something psychological or is it something external? And so the film was actually set about 4 years ago. It's almost complete. They're working on the soundtrack now. However, one of the principals in the film notified us about 5 weeks ago that they can't be in some of the scenes now due to their growing career. They're a comedian. And so the character that this person portrays has difficulty too. And so now we're trying to work around that issue. Do we treat that character as a flashback? That'll take a year to do or so. It'll be strong, but it can get done that with any legal ramifications. The people sign contracts, so by right we can do what we do, but I don't want to cause any kind of bad feeling because I'm the director. And so right now, that entire project is shelved as we figure out the best way to move forward, even though it's almost complete in its entirety. And, I love it. But one of the things that I've had to do since I began speaking about my own experience about 5-6 years ago was maintain positivity. I want to keep things positive. I want to build friendships, not sever them. And my hope is that over the next 6 to 8 months, that this individual can understand the value of the project and give the okay for us to use that as we move forward. So I hope that answers your question.
I see a question from Andrew Knapp. Where will you be appearing in the upcoming months? And I'm going to assume that that's directed at Chris, because I'm appearing everywhere.
Well, then go first.
No, I'm appearing. I'm the wingman, so wherever Chris flies, I fly with him, I guess.
Well, but you have other events too, don't you, with wrestling and things? Want to talk about that?
Actually, I just had a wrestling event that just happened in Newburgh, New York, at the Boys and Girls Club. We just did a show. I work for a group called East Coast Pro Wrestling, Hudson Valley Division. We got a lot of young up and coming talent. We actually had a really great show this weekend at the Boys and Girls Club. A little over 220 people there. Really well for a lot of guys that aren't really well known. They're just trying to make it in the business. We do have former WWF, WWE stars, some other independent stars that come through every now and then. But it's pretty neat. Like I love doing it. It's a passion of mine that I get to work with a lot of young guys now and help them out and kind of guide them on the right path of what to do, what not to do. As far as being a face or a heel, and if anybody knows any of that lingo, you'll understand. And if you don't, I apologize for speaking foreign language and not object, because that would be something you'd use in wrestling if you were a heel. Oh, you see how he did that? Stuff's pretty neat, right? No. But we do have some shows coming up in the future. We haven't confirmed anything yet, but we're working on another show in Newburgh and one more in Middletown. So if you guys live in the area and want to come out and hang out, I'm the wingman there. I'm the color commentator of the show, as they like to call me, the golden voice. As if I needed a bigger ego. I have to walk through doors sideways because my head is so big nowadays. But and again, I'll be alongside of Chris, helping him out and doing some cool things. And I love hanging out. So I'll be out on my front stoop any day of the week. That's where I appear the most.
I like the moniker golden voice much better than, say, golden dawn or golden shower, because I think that much more appropriate moving forward in the professional career. As far as me, I had to, as you know, scale back on a few of the things. One of the things about working through an illness is you have to give yourself time to recover, and I'm always bad at that. And but I looks like right now I'll be appearing on April 21st and 22nd at the Hudson Valley Comic-Con. If my health holds up, I can do that. Then there's April 28th. That's actually out in Poughkeepsie, New York. Then April 28th is Meet the Author Weekend at Barnes & Noble, which is also in Poughkeepsie, which is a small city, about a half an hour from where I live. May 19th, I'm scheduled to appear at the 5th Annual New Jersey Community Expo at the Woodbridge High School Star Jerry's event. It's a very well-attended event. They bring in great guest speakers and lecturers and presenters. It's a very a nice show. I'm trying to go easy, although I did, by mistake, put down two events on the same weekend because they're both in Pennsylvania and both in mansions under the same event, but they're not. So I will be June 9th at the Holton Mansion at Not Your Average PowerCon, Matty About Ghosts. The following day, June 10th, at the Paranormal Expo at the Mansion. And then August 3rd, 5th, I'll be at the Central Paranormal Convention 2, Pajama Factory. That's John Covey. And then I have some nice events up in Syracuse in the fall. But it's going to be 45 events like the last year, maybe 10 or 12, to make sure I can do more in the future. So that's what we have right now.
You got a longer list than I do. I like it.
You want some of them?
No, I will
trade you. Let's see.
I'm pretty sure. Well, the weekend you're going to be in Pennsylvania. I'll be in Spooky Nuke,
yes,
Pennsylvania, with my daughter. She's got a huge AAU basketball tournament down there, so I'll be in the area because that's only like a half hour from Hershey Park. So maybe we can go to the park and ride some roller coasters and eat some hot dogs.
Yes, and one of the things I'm really trying to arrange is what's called the C2D1 experience. We've had, I believe, 2 of those in the past. Those are held in State College, Pennsylvania, and it's a bed and breakfast, and they have the actual Please Talk With Me movie set, in that location. And so people can go there and sit in the desk, read the books, and hold the things we had, see the off, just like we had back in the movie, and they had College C2D1. And Jeff Unger, who was the individual who helped me back in college and recorded the journal notes and some of the photographs and things. And Mark Atria, who was the award-winning director of that film. They host an event there, and I'm hoping to be some more of those because those are amazing. You come in on a Saturday, and we watch the movie, we have some dinner, we talk back and forth on the set, we ask questions, a sleepover. It's a real nice time. So I'll try to, if I can, I'll get you some dates for that because that's really my favorite thing of all. I get to be with good friends, wonderful location, with a meaningful event. So I'll put that out there once I know that too. And and Mr. Kevin Cook has been such a good friend to me. I'll be speaking up in Syracuse on October 13th at the Barnes and Scott Mansion. That's joy too. It's nice. Thank you for the question. It's nice that I had the opportunity to speak about these things. As you know, for decades I didn't know how to share any of this. It took the understanding that perhaps just surviving that experience was worth explaining and exploring, rather than just saying how bad things were and how terrible we had it. And once I realized that survival aspect of evidence was valid a way to share, then I realized I had a positive way to dispense the information and make some great friends along the way. And it's been a really nice time. And if I don't say it enough, thank you so much, everyone, for being so nice to me and for listening.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience. That's on my bucket list to do that C2D1 experience, just to kind of see, where you were and where you've been. And not a question, but I noticed in the chat room, Miss Kat Hobson, she had to go move her truck. So she said she was coming right back. So we can't wait for Kat to come back into the chat room. Because I know she said earlier when I talked to her, she was going to have some questions.
We can wait. Can we wait?
We can wait. We can absolutely wait. And Andrew Knapp, I saw you earlier, and then we're going to get right to Kathleen's question. They do have a website. It's called ECPW Hudson Valley. They're on Facebook. You can look them up, or you can go onto my webpage or my Facebook page if you're Facebook friends with me, and I'm pretty sure you are because I'm Facebook friends with everyone. Or if you really, really want, you can email me at thewingman33 at gmail.com, and I will forward that the webpage off to you. And Chris, this question's for you, so I'm gonna let you have Kathleen's question.
Double Q for Chris. : If someone wants you to attend their event, how do they make the arrangements? I try to work with MI6, the KGB, or CIA. They're a little busy right now with the whole policing Asian thing, so I usually sit at my computer and respond to people on Facebook and look at cool videos, and someone reaches out to me and say, hey, you want to come to my event? And that's usually how that works. I try to differentiate events each year, so I don't do the same one every year. This year, I'm doing a lot of events I couldn't do last year. And it's, like I said, it's an amazing thing. I think Facebook helped me. I think Facebook for me has been a great tool because it combines their calendar, right? It's mail, photo album, everything. Chat group is just so I love it. People don't like Facebook so much, but for me, for unlimited use, I think it's a great thing, and that's usually people should do it. People tend to invite me because of one of two things: either because someone heard me speak and thought, not too bad, you should have them speak at your event, or because they saw the 5-5 show and thought, I want them to be here or read the books. That's usually how it works. And I try very hard to get to it. It's like, this year, as I said, I have to pull back from you. There's a beautiful event you should go to, the chance to Rhode Island, Ocean State Paracon, and it costs to run that. I've done that past 4 years, but I don't have the okay to go out that way in 2 days and be in the summer sun. So unfortunately, I don't make that one this year, and a few others as well. So I'll try to keep up abreast as to what's going on, because some people are just happy to be there and not.
That is an amazing event. I've been privileged to be able to go 2 years in a row with you, and last year we got to share a cool experience together in
yes.
What was the name of that mansion? That was one of those old timey.
That was the Paint House.
The Paint House. Okay. Yep. That was we got to share a pretty cool experience in there, and
yes, they had a doll, like this whole doll.
I wasn't talking about that one, but
correctly, I was foolish. And I taunted it and picked it up and rubbed its head and laughed at it.
Yeah.
And then later on in the hotel room, found a piece of the hemp necklace that was around its neck, like a noose, by my shoe. And Phil said, that's not good. Give it by you. And so then we drove back home, and following that, I had this nightmare that my son was being harassed by these bullies. But for some reason, my son was a little kid, and I got angry at the bullies, and I got a shovel, and I killed everybody in my dream. I burned the whole house down. And then I picked my son up. He's like, "Dad, they killed me." And then suddenly, my son went to the corner, and I realized it's the pain house doll on my arms made me go crazy. So that's enough of that.
Yeah, that wasn't the one I was talking about. I was actually talking about the little girl we saw peek around the room downstairs while we were upstairs.
I blocked that.
That was a cooler experience than the doll because that piece of hemp necklace was put on a table and then it disappeared. And then a couple days later, it showed up in Chris's shoe at his house. Yeah. So it was weird stuff that happened. And just not cool, man. Not cool, bro.
Agreed. I think we have to come up on our final station break. Is that right? We're doing an abbreviated 1-hour show tonight on account of I'm old and infirm. But let's see if we can do that. Go to our last station break. You're listening to Surviving Evidence on Let's Talk Radio. Ready?
While the other stations are run from high-rises in the city, we're programmed from a little bungalow on Windtree Drive. Let'sTalkRadio.net. Shopping, dining, beautiful lakes and rivers, and a monster? Welcome to Braxton County, West Virginia. Centrally located, Braxton County, West Virginia is the ideal place to visit. Natural beauty and recreation abound with 2 beautiful lakes for easy kayaking and canoeing, and many hiking trails. Did we mention the Flatwoods Monster? That's right. Visit Braxton County, West Virginia's Flatwoods Monster Museum and not only learn about the Flatwoods Monster, but walk in the same footsteps as the people who witnessed it. Nearly all of our attractions can be found within a few miles of Interstate 79. Visit us online at braxtonwv.org. That's braxtonwv.org. Braxton County, West Virginia. Center yourself here. If you've ever wondered what your dog, cat, bird, or any other animal is thinking or trying to tell you, now's the time to crack their code. Make this year the year you learn telepathic animal communication and begin using the intuitive and psychic abilities we all have to connect with other species. The free website Speak Good Human is the perfect place to start. Speak Good Human is the internet's largest free animal communication practice site. It features tips, advice, how-tos, and more than 100 animals ready to help you practice and build your skills through telepathic conversation. And each February and August, you can join the thousands of other learners worldwide for the Animal Communication Practice Challenge, when you'll get daily encouragement, inspiration, and camaraderie as you pursue your dream of talking with animals. Get in on the conversation at www.talktoanimals.weebly.com. That's talktoanimals.weebly.com. Or Google Speak Good Human. Not only will your companion animals thank you, but you'll finally be able to hear it. Let'sTalkRadio.net.
And we are back, and you guys are listening to Surviving Evidence on Let'sTalkRadio.net. Thank you again for joining us. As we mentioned earlier, our guests tonight are Chris Cesare, the Ghost Boy of Geneseo, and the Wingman, Phil Casey. And thank you guys for being on. You're awesome guests. It's just been an amazing, amazing hour so far.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We are still taking questions from the chat room. So if anybody out there, you guys want to learn some more about us or want to ask us questions about any of our experiences, we've had some really cool experiences over the last year and a half. I am, again, thankful to be friends with Mr. DeCesare because he's been very instrumental in helping me get over some of the humps. And one of the cool things is that I love two things. I love that his experience with his mom was good people always help. And I hope I quoted that right. He's bestowed that upon me as one of my older friends who has been gone for a while love to pay it forward, which made me always want to be part of giving. If it was my last dollar in my pocket, I would give it if somebody needed it. And I've been raised that way, and Chris is the same way, and which is why he does a lot of events. And after a while, we got to tone it back a little bit because we're getting old. Although I think he's younger than I am. No, he's older than I am.
I think he's older than you are.
He acts younger than I do, but he is definitely like my big brother, and I am. I'm super excited, and I'm excited that we're back on. And hit us up, man. Let us know. Anybody in the chat room. That was. I don't like dead air. Dead air. Dead air.
No, it's not dead.
Dead air.
I guess because Andrew asked a question, and the question was, have either of you had any cryptid-related encounters?
Define encrypted.
My uncle one time was pretty big and hairy, but is that?
No, that's like Bigfoot. He didn't say. He said encrypted.
Is that a cryptoid?
That's not from kryptonite.
No, I know. I thought it was
from Krypton.
Sasquatch and Bigfoot Yeti or something. Is that what it means?
Maybe, Andrew, can you be more specific? Because cryptid, that word scares me. It reminds me of like Egyptians. Oh, that's embalmed. No.
I don't know. Cryptozoology? Yes. Isn't that with like Sasquatch and whatnot?
That is.
That scares me.
It's a bucket list thing for me. I always find myself driving, and when I get near wooded areas, because I do a lot of driving for my real job, and I get into some sketchy areas sometimes, and I like to look in the woods. I hope someday to see one. I believe in it. I'll tell you right now, I totally believe there's a Bigfoot out there, and it's almost paranormal-ish because when it wants to be seen, it shows up, and when it doesn't, good luck trying to find it. But I do. I love those Bigfooters and my squatchers out there, and I'd love to go squatching.
I know people who have gone squatching, and I know people have said that they've gotten some forms of evidence, like footprints or seen certain paths or certain sounds that could be something like, Bigfoot or Bugman or Mothman. I myself try to avoid most controversy.
True.
My controversy is like paper versus plastic in the throughway market.
And you get that one wrong every time.
Why do I do that?
Save the earth.
Yeah, I don't have any experiences about those areas, but I did, as a child, young person, have a couple experiences with, I guess what you call like aliens or UFOs.
Extraterrestrials, yes.
Yes.
Politically correct word. But
I try not to get too far abroad in what I say because I tend to try to focus. But I think it's fascinating that human beings look for these possibilities. I think it's important that they do because that's how we grow as a species. That's how we increase our ability to understand things around us and challenge our environment. If it turns out that things don't exist, we're none the worse off for looking for them. It's like looking for a cure for cancer. So I really enjoy the fact that people go out there and look for this. And in a worst-case scenario, they have a great time with friends, treasures in the woods, eating good food, singing songs, and challenging themselves.
Absolutely, and making weird noises to call Yeti.
They do that?
They do. Yeah, they do those weird, like, I can't do it because we're on air. I'll probably break with the speaker drums.
Can you do that for me so I understand what you mean?
They do like that. Whoop, whoop.
They do that?
They do that. There's that guy.
Auburn game.
It is. That's the hey. Oh no, that's the chop. That's the Indian chop. That's politically incorrect too.
Well,
that's Native American chop.
Kathleen says she has some friends who are squatchers. They hook you up.
Cool. I'll tell you that the only thing that scares me though is it would be my luck that I would walk right into one and not have a clue what to do other than run the other way. And it would be the fastest anybody's ever seen me run since I played semi-pro football.
See that? I'm just saying. I'm not trying to.
That's the only thing that scares me. Like I watch these shows on TV, and we all know the whole TV world. Everything is, we make noises and we bang trees and they do all those things. And sometimes they get responses, and you don't really know. And then sometimes you see things on those 3D cameras and heat vision things, and you know or you don't know, and you really want to know. that it's real. There is a large party that wants it to be real. I'm sure at some point they're out there. Again, I'm a firm believer of we're not alone, and that goes for extraterrestrials to Mothman. And we actually had a guest on that talked about the Jersey Devil,
Yes.
which was really, really cool because that's one of my big things. Like I'm a New Jersey Devil fan, but
right.
yeah, and I just that was an amazing show too. Like she had some great information on that stuff, and it's one of those things. If you're lucky, it's like a spirit or a shadow figure or anything like that. If it's meant to be seen and you're meant to be in the right spot at the right time, it'll happen. I totally believe that. But yeah, Squatchers, man, those guys rank right up there with me. I love those guys and girls because there's a lot of girl Squatchers out there.
That's a nice thing to see. Many cultures have cryptids in them. You have Yeti and the Himalayas. You have the idea of Sasquatch, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the Bogies.
There's a skunk ape in Florida.
Yeah, there's all different things. So these individuals claim to have seen these things without cross collaboration on what they're seeing. So there's either something in your mind to think about these things, or something's there. Because these things were formulated so far apart, they're similar but unique. And the motivation of the societies were not similar. In Americans didn't own property. They didn't sell and buy things from Muslim. They had their spirituality. So it's very different from, say, what you might get down in Florida, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Or with the European cultures. That's kind of fascinating thing.
Yeah, the Native Americans, the Bigfoot is like almost like a totem god to them. They're very respectful because Native Americans, they appreciate the land. They respect the land. They respect like that culture is all about, loving everything and treating it the way you want it. So it'll be here for many, many years. And that's one of the, I saw an episode once where the Native Americans were talking about Bigfoot and they say, absolutely, we've seen them and we never infringe on that territory. We don't go there unless we absolutely have to or need something. So I find it very fascinating that that people have seen them. People have seen different ones. I've seen pictures of skunk apes or what are called skunk apes in Florida. But it's amazing. Like again, it's borders of what you think you see and what you think you don't. And I think Chris hit it on the head.
Well, I just thought of something. This is for Andrew, Mr. Knapp. You asked about any experiences with cryptids. The only experience I have is a kind of funny one. It was on TV, where they had the Bionic Woman, the $6 Million Man, and Bigfoot all in the same episode.
I remember that episode.
Trying to get something up to the volcano of the mountain, and Jamie Summers carries it for a while, then Steve Austin carries it for a while, and then Bigfoot saves the day. That's the only experience I have, but boy, that was a good show when I was a kid.
That was a great episode. Man, I just want you to know he referenced the $6 Million Man.
Yes.
That makes us old, bro.
Well, with some inflation, maybe it's like $14 million now. We're better off.
I think now he'd be the $1 billion man.
Well, I look at money. My first hospital stay, which was 2.5 days, cost $10,400.
Thank God for Trump insurance.
Well, yeah, so I'm just saying that's a lot of money, right? So I figured it's something that's ice chips. Ice chips.
They are. They're about $1 billion a piece.
I want some kind of cool power now. Some kind of cool, like bionic something. I would say what? Something about it would be kind of cool. Huh?
It would be amazing, but I don't know that works like that.
What, the bionic stuff?
I don't think any of that works like that.
Yeah. Well, they have cool things, though. They have, like, the artificial hearts now, and they can replace joints and things, and so...
They can. My mom's got two metal hips.
Wow.
She's technically... I don't think they're $1 million a piece, but she's probably about $30,000. Yeah, so she's about a $60,000 woman.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty neat.
And she's nice, too, if I can say.
She is a nice woman. I love my mom. She's a great person. And she raised me right, even though I'm wrong in the head. But she raised me right.
You're okay in the head. I think you're a good bit of okay. I want to make sure before the show ends in a few minutes that we talk about next week. We're very honored to have on our show Amy C. Wilson. She is the owner of Otherworldly Waxes. She is a celebrated spiritual medium and psychometrist, and she's worked with and read for individuals and missing persons cases. She's been a practitioner of the magical arts and has worked in various New York City occult stores for over 25 years, specializing in healing others through candle magic. And I met Amy this summer. She's a fascinating person to speak with. I always enjoy it when I can learn things myself about areas that border my own and are very different. And so we look forward to having her on our show next Monday, April the 9th at 8 p.m. So next week on Sorry Critics with Phil and I will be Amy C. Wilson.
Yeah, that's good. It's great. I'm so looking forward to that. Mediums, they're pretty awesome people. They can do things that some of us, can only dream of sometimes. And I think that speaking of mediums, that's kind of funny because I remember now that story of 3 different people telling me that I was sensitive. I just think I'm just sensitive, but I don't want my feelings hurt. I'm just sensitive that way. But no, seriously, mediums. I respect what they do, and it's going to be an awesome show. I hope you guys have questions for her, and that she can maybe get in touch with some people who have no longer on this plane and moved on to their next worldly areas.
And I think it's fascinating. As someone whose experiences were primarily negative or traumatic, I always enjoy listening to talk about things that not necessarily are that actually positive, and it opens the questions in my mind. How do you know it's going well? What's the different sort of distinction between free will and intent? Is there a way in which these spirits communicate that they're stuck with a certain way they have to do this, or they're very ways to communicate? Talk about maybe sound, sense, or things. Very rarely they say things like, "Hey, it's me," or blank.
Yes, yeah.
And, it's usually there's a sound, clock moves, something happens that can only be that person, and yet it's that they're constrained in some way they can do. And then there's some mediums or psychics who, and that they can actually hear better, see better, and engage in a dialogue that can be healing from both sides.
They're on a different frequency.
Right.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I've heard many people speak about the different frequencies of hearing, and I have that weird one where I can hear music at night, and it varies from old timey to new timey, and it's not my neighbors because I know they're asleep, and my other neighbors are way too far away, so I don't know if someone's just trying to get my attention just to let me know they're there, but that would be pretty neat. I kind of want to know, and there's a part of me that kind of doesn't want to know. But yeah, I believe mediums are on a different frequency when it comes to hearing people from the other side, as everyone likes to say, or I like to say from beyond the veil. Or
that's a cool name. Yes. Yeah. I also want to thank Charlie Manning, who was the priest who back in March 6, 1985, blessed the dorm room where the ghost was. When he went there, he said he was there for 2 people. He was there for me to ease my suffering and hopefully end the haunting, and also there for the spirit as well, and put that spirit at rest. And I like the approach that you're thinking of more than oneself. I like the concept that there are equal and opposite reactions, and that oftentimes our success or failure isn't ours alone, but it's built off of friendships and trust and relationships that are very important that we need to nurture and grow over time. I want to thank Phil for being such a good friend, for being so patient, for willing me around. It's a great thing. I tell people I'm not the brother, well, maybe I do. So, but I just think it's a wonderful thing, and I want to thank everyone out there for being so kind to us tonight. Welcome us back after a couple of months, right?
Yeah, right before Christmas. So, yeah, again, I want to thank everybody who's on with us tonight, and everybody who's been with us. And Chris is my brother from another mother. That's how we word that. And it's just it's an amazing opportunity. It's pretty cool to be on. I want to thank Todd. Todd's an awesome dude. He puts up with us, and he lets us carry on and banter and say cool stuff. I didn't say it. So you thought I was going to say the other word. I said cool stuff.
You mean awesome?
Yeah, see, I didn't say it. Yeah, I really want to thank everyone. I want to thank, my kids who let me give up the time to be on the show, and again, thanks everyone for being with us tonight and sticking back. So,
Yes, and happy 94th birthday to my grandmother Grace down in Florida. I love you. I love you so much. I'm so grateful that you're in my life. I'm so grateful that I have some memories, your kindness and your decency. And I remember one thing in particular. Before every Christmas, she would bring this giant Disney catalog to the living room. And circle one for Christmas. And nothing was magic as bad as this kid. So I love you, Grandma. You're the best. Continued health. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. See you next week. Surviving Evidence on Let's Talk Radio.